Hello magical hands and welcome to this updated basic bodice block video. In this video you get to learn how to draft your patterns and how to take your measurements. Now you're going to need a writing material, either a marker or a pencil. You will need your measuring tape, your ruler and your pattern paper. Now you can go ahead and fold your fabric into two if you don't have a pattern paper. Make sure you're following this video step by step so you get incorporated into everything we are doing. From the top part of the pattern paper, we'll mark inwards 3.5 inches, which is the measurement I'll be using for the neck width. Like I said, if you have your fabric, make sure to fold it into two. Downwards, I'll mark 3.5 inches, which is going to be for the neck depth. I'll connect the 3.5 inches on the neck width to meet the 3.5 inches on the neck depth. And that is going to be our neckline. Now, if you mark this on your fabric and you open this up, you will see you have a complete U shape. Now from that starting point, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurements divide by 2. Using the video right here on the screen, take your shoulder measurement and divide it by 2. Mark what it gives you right on that part and mark downwards from that point 1 inch. Connect that 1 inch that you mark downwards to meet the neck width or to meet the neckline. That is going to give us the shoulder slope or the shoulder slant. And you have to slant your shoulder measurement because our shoulder is not built in a straight form. It is rather in a slanted form. Now from that shoulder point there, we are going to mark downwards our round armhole measurement. And you're going to divide that measurement by 2 using the picture or the video on the screen as a guide. Mark what it gives you on that point. Now you're going to make sure that that's 8 inches, the measurement you mark there. Make sure it is sitting at the same width of your shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement divided by 2 was 8 inches. So I have to make sure that this armhole is sitting at the width of 8 inches so that the line is very straight by the time I connect it downwards. Connect both points as seen and extend to the right side. Extending it to the right side is going to enable us get the armhole curve. In order to get the armhole curve, we are going to find the midpoint of the armhole length, which was 8 inches. And the midpoint of 8 inches is 4 inches. So just place your tape right on that point and mark 4 inches there. Right at that 4 inches, mark inwards half an inch. And then place your curve ruler as seen, such that a part of it is touching that shoulder line there, where the shoulder line ended. A part of it will also be touching the half an inch inwards, and a part of it will be touching the base, which was that line we extended to the right side. And in one swipe, you should be able to get your armhole curve. Mind you, we are drafting the front pattern, and only your front armhole is supposed to be as defined as this. Now make sure to place your tape right on that point as seen in the video, in order to start taking the other bodice points. The first point we are going to mark is your shoulder to the bust point. Once you get that measurement, using the video on the screen, make a straight line across that point. Still from that shoulder line right at that point, you are going to mark downwards to your under bust. Using the video on the screen as a guide, take that measurement, mark it and make a straight line across that point. Going back to the shoulder line again, we are going to mark this time around from the shoulder to the waistline, which could also be the half length line. Using the video on the screen, I showed you guys where the waistline would be, and it was on the part where the joggers I was wearing started from. Moving on to taking our dart, we'll have to create the dart from the apex measurement. And your apex measurement is your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Using the video on the screen, make sure to take your measurement and apply on the bust point line, on the under bust line, on the half length, which is the waistline also, and then to the full length. Now I forgot to take the full length measurement, so we are going to mark and determine how long we would want our blouse to be. I marked 21 inches because in my next tutorial, I will be using this pattern paper to make a dress, and that will be the length of the top part of the dress. So go ahead and connect these apex measurements together with a straight line from the bust point to the full length as seen. Moving on to the shoulder line, you are going to find the midpoint of the shoulder line. The easiest way to find your midpoint would be to fold your tape into two. and right there we have the midpoint. Now you're going to connect from that midpoint to meet the apex measurements right on the bust point line. Now, this extension we did from the shoulder to the bust point is going to enable us take the dart for the shoulder part. But we are not going to be doing that in this video. We are just going to be taking the regular darts. Any other darts, either the armhole dart or the shoulder dart, can be manipulated from this basic bodice block. Now our focus point for the dart of the front piece is the under bust line. On the left side of the apex measurement, I will mark 1/2 inch apart from the apex measurement. And on the right side, I will mark 1.5 inch apart from the apex measurement. I will connect it in a slanted form to meet the full length on both the right side and on the left side. Make sure to connect it to meet the bust point as well in a slanted form. Mind you, the measurements I use to take the darts can also vary from size to size, but this is a universal measurement. This can work for mostly medium to small size, but if you are way on the extra large, you should consider taking 2 inches on the right side of the apex measurement. But you can maintain the 1/2 inch on the left side of the apex measurement. Make sure to connect everything as seen. And just like that, we have the front dart. Now we can start taking the round bodice measurement. On the bust point line, you're going to take your round bust measurement, divide it by 4 and apply right there on the bust point line. The next measurement to take will be the round under bust measurement. Take that measurement, divide it by 4 and apply it. Now you're going to take the measurement of the dart, which is 1.5 thereabouts, and you're going to replace it on the other side. Now we go to your waistline and you take your round waist measurement, divide it by 4 and apply on that point. Then you take what we have on the dart line there and you apply it on the other side, which is almost 1 inch. The next measurement is going to be that of the full length area. Just take your exact measurement and divide by 4 and apply it around there. Now we'll go ahead and connect all these dotted lines together, and this brings us to the end of the pattern drafting of the front piece. Drafting the back piece is very easy, but there are just a basic few differences. The first difference is this 1.5 inch that I am marking right at this side of the pattern paper, and I'll connect that 1.5 inch downwards. This 1.5 inch is going to be for the zip allowance. Mind you, this is just a basic bodice, and the zip allowance can vary in most styles, in different styles, depending on what you are making. The zip allowance can either be at the front or at the back or at the side, but basically the zip is meant for the back. So we mark 1.5 inch there, which is going to be for zip allowance. Now all your measurement is going to start from this zip allowance. We're going to mark the neck width of 3.5 inches, which is what we use for the front piece. And for the depth, we are going to mark 1.5 inch downwards. That is because your neckline is not supposed to be as deep as that of the front piece. Like I said, this is just a basic neckline. Any other type of neckline you want to recreate can be made from this. Now I marked my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and I connected from the neck width to meet that shoulder slope. All these were explained while we're drafting the front piece. Now we mark your round armhole measurement divided by 2, and you make sure it is sitting at the width of the shoulder measurement. Now the few differences is the zip and the armhole. If not, every other thing should be the same with the front piece. Now connect the armhole to the shoulder line and extend it to the right side. Extending it to the right side is going to enable us get the armhole curve properly. In order to get the armhole curve, we are going to find the midpoint of the armhole line divided by 2, which is 4 inches. This time around, you don't have to go inwards by 1/2 inch. You just place your ruler, your curve ruler, from that 4 inches, and you're just going to go ahead and curve from that point to meet the base without going inwards by 1/2 inch. The reason why we have to go inwards by 1/2 inch on the front piece is because going inwards by 1/2 inch is going to help us remove excess fabric, or it's going to, reduce the bulky fabric that might be gathered up around that area. It's very important. Now we're going to mark the basic points, which is the shoulder to the bust points, just as we did in the front piece, but this time around it should start from the zip allowance, where the zip allowance ends. So when we mark our basic points, we are going to take straight lines across them as seen. The next thing will be to get the dart, and we are going to need the apex measurement to create the dart. Remember that the apex measurement we used on the front piece was a result of our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. You are still going to apply that on the back piece from the bust point line to the full length and make a straight line across that point. Now our focus point for the dart of the back piece is going to be the waistline and not the underbust line. So you are going to mark 1/2 inch apart from both sides, and you connect it in a slanted form to meet the full length, just as seen, and you will connect it to meet the bust point in a slanted form, just as seen. Remember that the focus of our dart of the front piece was the underbust line, but this time around it's going to be the half length, which is also the waistline. Now that we've taken our dart, we'll go ahead and start taking our round bodice measurements, which is similar to what we did with the front piece. On the bust point line, you will take your round bust measurement divided by 4 and apply it right there. On the under bust line, you will take your round under bust measurement and apply it round there, and make sure to replace the measurements we have in the dart. Moving on to the waistline, you will do the same thing. You're going to replace the measurements you have round there. And on the full length, just as we did to the front piece, you're going to take the measurements of that full length and you're applying it right there. Now we'll go ahead and connect these lines together, just as said. And this brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. Make sure to subscribe, like and share. See you in my next video. Bye.